Okay, so I've got the front of my bag, the pocket, and now we're going to put our bag together. Just put that pin back in. So I've got my back piece here. I need to find the right side again. And I also need to find the end where I marked my 3 centimeters. So I'm going to put this on top of this with the right side facing down. And then I'm going to line up all my edges. And pin them together. So again, I'm pinning away from the edge. That way I can stitch my bag together and I don't have to worry about breaking a needle on a pin. Okay, so when you're sewing, you shouldn't ever sew over pins. Alright, because the needle could hit one and then it could splinter off and hit you in the face or hit someone else. So we've got to be really careful with that stuff. Alright, so a couple more pins. And then we're going to stitch it together. Right. Okay, so I'm back at my machine and I've got my 3 layers pinned together with the right sides facing. And I'm going to stitch from the top down, turning a corner along the bottom, turning a corner and back up the top. And we're going to use 1 centimeter seam allowance. I will use the needle plate on the machine as a guide. So starting at the top, we've got this line here which corresponds with this 1 here, and we're going to line up our fabric against that and use that as a guide. Just going to put my threads through my presser foot and out the back, and then I can stitch my bag together. So always start off with a reverse stitch and then holding your layers together and keeping it lined up with that 1 centimeter mark here. Oops, get those out of the way. Stitch around the sides and the bottom of your machine. Sorry, your fabric. Alright, so get into the corner. You can mark your centimeter here or you can just estimate. So I'm going to estimate because I'm pretty good with working out that kind of thing because I've done it many times before, but you guys should probably mark it in. So I've turned my corner and go along the bottom. Holding all my layers together and keeping that 1 centimeter seam allowance. It's starting to come apart a little bit here. That's okay, it's not a huge amount, so I won't worry about it. So when you turn your corner, you should stop, slow down, pop your needle in, press the foot up, and then keep going. Almost back at the top of the bag so I can do my reverse stitch once I get right to that end. Okay, so there's my stitch. I've gone all the way around my bag. Now I'm ready to overlock this. Okay, so I'm at the overlocker now. I'm making sure I've got, oops, that should be clicked in, a nice long tail. I'm remembering where I'm lining up my fabric, which is with this line here or with the blade. My presser foot's up and I can pop my fabric under to overlock. Now I'm just doing along that edge that I just sewed. So I'm popping my fabric under, putting my foot down. And just real gently guiding that through at the pace it wants to go. So when you get to the corner, you can turn a corner on an overlocker, but does take a bit of time to get used to. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go off the end, get a little tail, and then I'm going to come back on. Just pop it under there. So here you really shouldn't be trimming off a great deal. It's just to neaten the edge. So again, I'm going to come off, get a tail, just enough so I can come back on here. Okay, so that is my edges nicely overlocked, and then my corners have these little tails. You can cut them off, or you could just leave them if they're a bit long, like that one. Probably best cutting them off. And that's that so far. I'm going to move on to finishing the top edge and attaching the straps next.